Hello, everybody. Good to see you. So, if you're stuck in your spiritual journey, I want to take this video and show you where you're stuck. The reason I can just say this for sure without even knowing you is that it shows up in different ways and it takes different tactics to help you sometimes. But everybody that comes to me has got one thing in common. And I can't think of anybody who's come to me and said, Fred, I just don't have a clue what any of this non-duality is about. And I would like for you to give me an idea. And people don't come to me with that because this is not a starter's teaching. I'm not saying that if you just happened upon this, welcome, but, prepare to be confused for some while, I suspect. Because this is really, this is sort of advanced class. This is like we're going for our, I didn't mean it that way. We're going for our masters. And then I realized what I was saying. We're going for an advanced degree here. Let's put it that way. No, I don't know of any masters, and certainly don't look at this as if it's one, because it's not. It is just a guy. It's just a guy that happened to get lucky and woke up. It was a lucky unit, and awakening occurred through the unit. And it occurred to a guy who certainly, apparently to a guy who had no business waking up, no business. And I have no business being a spiritual teacher. This is all God's doing. It is not mine, because I tried very hard to be pretty much a selfish prick all my life. And I was quite successful at that. And then something happened. First, I got sober. And then 4 years later, I got something else, so to speak. Actually, something else got me. But it's the bubble of self-reflection is what I'm talking about. This bubble of self-reflection, and many of you have seen this probably or talked about this that are my regular students ad nauseum, but it's not really well understood, and I'm just finding that out. I had a student of mine just this week, and somebody's been with me for a little while, and actually woke up with me years ago. And we mentioned the bubble of self-reflection. He said, Fred, I'm glad you explained that. I've never really followed what you were meant with this bubble of self-reflection. And I thought, well, wow, I thought I had really done a good job explaining this. And clearly I had not. So for some, I've done it where some of you picked up on it. Some of you probably have not. So this is for those of you who have not. It's even for those of you who have, who perhaps want a deeper understanding of it. The picture that I use to illustrate this is this one. This is the woman in the bubble. Now, let's look at the picture for just a minute. This is a unit, okay? And there is an animating presence in this unit. That's why it's sitting up instead of lying down with its dead, because there's an animating presence in it. You, the one who's sitting here thinking it's a Bob or a Carol, and they just can't wait for the hidden news on what it is that they are. Here's the hidden news. You are not this unit. You are not any unit. You are the animating presence within every unit, and within every plant and tree and all that too. It's just you. But what I want you to understand is that this is a unit that believes that actually the unit can't believe anything. The unit is actually a walking cadaver, right? I mean, it's just dead. People talk about, well, what happens when I die? Well, you can't die because you haven't been born, right? You got something that hadn't been born can't die. So understand that this is a moving cadaver. It's an animated cadaver, and awakeness itself believes that it is this animated cadaver. In other words, Fred wanted desperately to wake up, but there's not a Fred, and there's never been a Fred. So the thing that thought that it was a Fred and needed to wake up, that very thing, you can notice a tension right now. That very thing is what you are. That is awareness. That's awakeness. The thing that's going, when's he going to get to the good part? That's awakeness. And awakeness, just to let you know, this is awakeness, and I'm talking to you. I'm talking to me. Never mind these units in the way. I'm talking to you, and you know who you are. You've just forgotten. You've forgotten because you were brainwashed between the years of 0 and 2, and really much further on, but it was especially effective for the first couple of years before there was much in the way of intellect. And you were brainwashed into believing that all of consciousness was just this, just one unit. This unit believed, awakeness itself, awareness, whatever you want to call it. I use different terms because I use different terms. But awakeness believed it was this single unit, not the animating presence of the entire universe, but just this unit. And not even the animating presence of this unit, but this unit itself, or if not this unit itself, then of something within, which we certainly don't want to use the word soul, but that's what we think we are. And we don't want to say soul because it's not particularly non-dual, right? And I get it. I mean, I know nothing of souls, but the animating presence is as close as we would get, only it's just not independent. It's not singular. If we want to talk about a soul, let's talk about the one soul, right? Which is not anything that comes here and not anything that gets out of here. It is the very here-ness of here. What you are is this awareness. Now, the thing is, let's look at where this woman has got herself, what she's got herself boxed into. Now, I'm going to be saying this unit, but I'm also going to be saying awakeness. When I point at this, I'm going to call it sometimes a unit and sometimes awakeness. And that's not like a tricky thing. It's just the way my mind works. It's that when I look at this, I see a unit, but if I really look at this, then I recognize it's nothing other than awakeness. But since this is not living here and moving around, I'm not recognizing it as keenly. I, awakeness, am not recognizing it as keenly as awakeness as it might be. So this unit was trained from 0 to 2. Well, we're trained from 0 to now, that it was a specific, separate, independent being with self-will and victim to the cause and effect of karma and all of this. And what I want to tell you is that it's just not true, because this thing is me. This unit is me. The unit that's hearing this is me. Or you can say it's you. That's effective. I am you, so to speak. There's only one I. Well, I'm not even sure there's that. But for the sake of this, we'll just say there's one I. And I can claim it, so to speak. I can say that I am all things. You can say I am all things. If I tell the truth, the only thing I can report that I am the sense, is that there's a sense of being. I can't even report that I'm it. I can't report I'm not it. I can't report I can't say even that I am. I just can't, certainly can't say that I am not. But, and there's a suspicion that I might be, but I can't. If I want to stick to the truth, the only thing I know is that that there is a sense of being, and I don't have it. I am the agent of that. Meaning that the sense of being, which is the sense of being, is the present sense of existence. There is a sense of aliveness here, and there is a sense of aliveness there. And what I want to tell you is that there's no here, there's no there, and there's just one sense of aliveness. And that sense of aliveness is not something you have. It's something that essentially you are. That's not 1,000% true, but it's close enough for this. So there's no independent being. This is you. This is me. This is part of the one consciousness. Pretending that this woman was actually living right now, what's looking through her eyes is exactly the same thing that's looking through mine right now. And it's exactly the same thing that's looking through yours. The very thing that wants to find awakeness is awakeness. The seeker is the sought. So what happens is that we are trained, and what trains us? Our parents train us. And our neighbors train us, and our family trains us. And then we get into school and our teachers train us and everything. And what are they training us? They're training all of consciousness. They're training it through this vehicle to believe that all of consciousness is just this one thing. And it's incredibly effective. But let's look at what it is that's training consciousness. It's your parents. They're not outside of consciousness. They are consciousness. So just as you are. So consciousness is actually training consciousness. And when we go to the friends and the neighbors and the teachers and the bosses and all of that, that's all consciousness. So the reason this thing is so slick and so sweet and so hard to see through or break out of, so to speak, not that there's anyone there to break out of, but awakeness breaks out of this divine hypnosis. There's a spell of divine hypnosis, and that spell of divine hypnosis is the belief that I am an independent being with self-will, subject to karma, and I have consciousness. This unit, believes it has consciousness. It's really awakeness, but it's through that unit. So I'm saying this unit believes it has consciousness. This unit does not hold consciousness. Consciousness is holding this unit, and it's holding this unit, and it's holding that unit over there. That's all that there is. So there's no room for argument that, well, wait a minute. I don't think it's consciousness there's nothing but consciousness. And you can, you're coming here to try to get something. I know, I did it for years. And if you're, and you may already be awake, and if so, congratulations, this won't hurt you. I promise you that, and it will very likely will help you in your clearing process, because there's the waking up and then there's clearing up. And what we're talking about right now is actually waking up. We're not talking so much about clearing up at this particular video. So consciousness through this unit believes that consciousness is only this unit. This unit thinks that it is inside of awareness. Well, we can't say it's outside of awareness because I can't find anything outside of awareness. Can you? Can you? Check that. That's like, and that's, it sounds like it's just a giveaway, and it is a giveaway, but it's a very important, profound giveaway. Can you find anything outside of awareness? Because we, you know, and I had people say, well, since I can't see from my dog's eyes and from yours eyes, Fred, then how can you tell me that there's just one consciousness? How can you tell me there's just one thing? I should be able to read everybody's minds. I've only, and I felt this way myself. I get it. So I am, whenever I talk about this, I'm not poking fun at anybody. I am trying to help you. And sometimes I do that by showing you the dark alleys that I walk down and the dead ends that I hit. So the idea that there's an independent being here, this awakeness through this human being, in awakeness, it can be confused or it can be clear. Over here right now, there's tremendous clarity. Over here right now, there's tremendous confusion. And the confusion is that she's this thing, she believes she's this thing, and and that there is some larger truth, but she believes she's this thing so much that she's essentially created a bubble around her. Now, this is like the gateless gate, it's the bubbleless bubble. But it's true. She's constructed essentially a bubble. And whenever this woman, whenever you look for that other truth, if you're standing in front of a mirror and you're looking for that other truth, there isn't one. There's just this. But this unit is believing that there's a this and that. This and this. Little this, big this. Little me, big me. See, there's two me's. You ever notice that? I mean, there aren't really, but I'm saying that's what our minds construct. They construct a second me. There's either no me or only me, however you want to put it. But it doesn't take long for awareness to be trained into believing that there's a big me, a little me, which is this, I'm a little me, and big me, which is God. And big me, little me is trying to connect with big me. Good luck. Let's use another name for awareness where we'll notice we can't find anything outside of awareness. But so let's just, for the sake of, this is for manifestation now, okay? We're talking about manifestation. So let's just use the term oneness, okay? So we have heard 1,000 times there's just one thing going on. So this one thing that's going on, it is, can you find it? I'm going to suggest that you haven't, or you wouldn't be watching this video. You can find it as long as you want to. I mean, you can look for it as long as you want to, but you can't find it. You can't find this consciousness because it's not out there, it's here. It is quote out there, but there's no out there, there's only oneness. See, there's nothing that can connect or disconnect from oneness. There's only oneness. And when we think about oneness, what we have to recognize it is that this is it. See, Well, I'm thinking, but the problem is what I've been thinking all along, this was me for 24 years, is damn, if I could just connect to oneness, if I could just merge with oneness. Folks, how many onenesses are there? I just count the one. And oneness and everythingness would have to be the same thing, correct? Two different ways of saying the same thing. So given the fact that there's just one oneness, and that oneness is everythingness, there's nothing that can merge with the only thing that is. There's only the only thing that is. Nothing can connect with or disconnect from something else when there's not anything else. This is really a logical way of coming to break through to where you just take a little leap beyond logic. But this logic that I'm giving you is impeccable. It really is. I have worked with philosophy professors, and I have worked with mathematicians and physicists and all kinds of brainiacs, theologians, but all kinds of brainiacs all over the world. I meet with them regularly, scientists of just about every order. And these are really practical people. I don't think I've ever had a scientist come to me who didn't say, you know, I'm a scientist. I love science, I really do. But they come and they say, you know, I'm a scientist. So naturally, professionally, always, I'm skeptical. Okay. Okay. The odds are extraordinarily high that what just said that will have to eat those words before the end of 90 minutes. Actually, for almost everybody, it takes about an hour to actually wake up. And then we spend another half an hour chatting awakeness to awakeness. This bubble does not exist. And this is imaginary. The character, call her Susan. So this unit believes it is a Susan. It's not, because that's like saying, okay, that'll be Susan, this will be Charlie, right? I mean, we're just naming inanimate objects. And if you think about it, what did the Tao Te Ching tell us? The Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. See, you can't be named. You can't be found. You can't wake up. We will continue to use those terms, but they're unskillful as hell. Because awake or not awake is referring to this unit. And this unit has no capacity to wake up any more than that Red Bull can does. It has no capacity to wake up. It also has no capacity to go to sleep. It just is as it is. And this is just a hand puppet for awakeness. And awakeness has got this hand puppet. This hand puppet doesn't have awakeness. And awakeness does not reside in the head. Localized consciousness, okay, I know there's some science there and all that. And I also have neuroscientists as students. So let's just be very clear that I know that you want to make yourself the exception to the rule who just can't get this because I'm just too smart. I've just got too much education to go in. I can't buy the hoodoo. Well, you would be, in a long list of those who couldn't come to see this, who have. And among the many things that we do in an awakening session is we break through. You come to see. I don't tell you about it. Here I'm trying my very best. I'm giving you the best I can do, but I'm having to do it for the whole world. I mean, not that the whole world's going to watch this video, but I'm just mean I'm doing it en masse. I'm not doing it one-on-one, which can sometimes be helpful. It's not actually written in stone that that's necessary. It's necessary for the people who come to me. How do we know they come to me? And then it happens. But I also work with people who are walking down the street and bam, never been a seeker. Bam, there it is. One guy sitting at his desk in his house, in his home office, sitting at his desk and just never thought about this kind of stuff. Very scientific oriented guy. And boom, it just came about. He'd never talked to me. I have plenty of people who have, this woman in South America walking down the street, boom, and she's just clear as a bell. But well, there was tremendous wakefulness there, but there wasn't really much in the way of clarity. So she was frightened and confused, and then she got a hold of me, and we spent the last couple of years going over this and in monthly meetings and stuff, and she's in very good shape right now, which is good because her country is just ate up with COVID. I mean, it's not as bad as ours, but it's still, it's a real hotbed, and it's affected everything. And she has stayed pretty much calm and clear. It's funny how we come and we go from clarity to confusion. I see it in my clients all the time. The reason we have monthly clarity sessions, or at least some of my clients have monthly clarity sessions, is because it tends to unravel the sense of coming and going. Because see, she can't come and go in this bubble. This bubble is, we call this bubble of confusion. Then she realizes there is no bubble, and then there's clarity. And it will feel like that this woman got clarity, but this woman is just a body. It's not more of a body than my dog. It's not less of a body. It is equally conscious. The difference is my dog doesn't tell itself very many stories. And we do. We tell ourselves stories. So we believe that there's somebody telling the story, and we believe we're telling a story about somebody. But really, there's just storytelling. That's all. Just storytelling. No one's doing it. No one's listening to it. No one's getting it. The bubble of self-reflection, the way that you get out of this bubble is you recognize that you're in it. And this is the fight. This is the fight. This is the whole non-dual fight. Well, I mean, it's not. You got to get in the bubble first. And what gets you in the bubble is intellect. And when you're in this bubble, you're in the bubble of intellect, which says that I understand this intellectually. It's just not my experience. One thing going on, I get that, Fred. There's just one thing going on. There's no Bobby. Okay, there's no Bobby. I completely understand that, says Bobby. So notice I said says Bobby, because what is sitting in front of me at the beginning of that session is awakeness that's believing that it's Bobby. It is the most absurd thing imaginable. And it's true. I mean, the feeling of that is true. Everybody's got it. I've never had, unless they were already awake. And then some of them were in a bubble of confusion. But if they were not already consciously awake right now, not that they had an awakening 20 years ago or yesterday, but that they were consciously awake right now. If they were not consciously awake right now, then they were in the bubble. If you feel like you're this close to waking up, you're in the bubble. If you feel like you're this close to waking up, you're still in the bubble. You've got just a little bit bigger bubble. I can't break through that bubble, but I do seem to have a great deal of influence over whether that bubble is seen through or not. I can't, it's shatterproof. It's shatterproof because it ain't there. But it is absolutely immune to outside effects. That is the reason that we can't see the truth. It's also, it's immune to internal internal truth as well. Meaning that the animating presence believes that it is a single unit, and believes, and furthermore, that this single unit that the awakeness thinks that it is not awake. And this is bullshit. It thinks it is not awake. It is awakeness. Can you find anything in that, in the title of awakeness and the name awakeness, that indicates any ability to sleep whatsoever? And the answer is no. Awakeness cannot sleep, but it can think that it's asleep. And that's the bubble. I think, because what does it have to think before it can be in the bubble? It's got to think, what's the first believed thought for everybody, everywhere, every time, every day? I'm a Fred, or I'm a Carol, or I'm a Tom, or whatever. This unit thinks I am Fred. And at that instant that I believe that I am that unit, there's the bubble. And notice that it's a self-made bubble. That's the reason nobody can break into it, because they can be even outside the bubble as it feels like I might be outside. If you're in the bubble of self-reflection, it will feel to you like I am outside the bubble of self-reflection, talking to you who's just come to find out that they're in a bubble of self-reflection. That's this bubble of self-reflection at work. Because there's no me, there's no you, there's just this. There's just one thing going on. One thing going on that can't merge, one thing going on that can't disappear, it can't die, it can't, and it can't build sandcastles. I mean, it's just, on a localized level, awareness is experienced. It is awareness that is experiencing. Let's get that straight. But awareness when awareness is experiencing through a bag of conditioning like this one, and it's had the upbringing like this one has had, and I bet you've had too, it will believe, awakeness will believe, that it is a single unit that is not awake, can't seem to wake up to save its life, and needs to be awake. In other words, needs things to be other than the way, need me to be other than the way I am, need things to be other than the way they are. And that very resistance, that's the struggle. We just can't understand that things are the way they are. Is that not ridiculous? I know. But this thing that is so apparent, so obvious, so ridiculously right here is impossible to see until it isn't. It's crazy. And I remember when I was seeking, and somebody would tell me, you're already awake, you don't know it yet, and all this, and I was just, why would you tell me that? That pisses me off. Blah, 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 blah. But it's true. You don't need to wake up. You are awakeness. How is awakeness going to wake up? What will you do, awakeness, to wake up? Let me ask you an interesting question here. And I want you to take this to heart. And if it doesn't do anything for you this minute, let this become inquiry for you. If whatever it is that you are, and you can think that you're this, or you can think that you are the whole field, which is what you really are, but you can identify as one of these units even, and still get the full effect of this question. This is a doozy. If right now, if you had to prove, whatever it is you think you are, if you had to prove to me that you are not awake, how will you do that? What is your strategy to prove to me that you are not awake? Because that's the belief. I'm not awake and I need to get awake. Prove that you're not awake. Well, I can't prove it. Well, then is it true? Sure, it's true. Can you prove it? No. Well, if you can't prove it, it might not be here. It's here. It's here. I believe. Yep, I'm it. I'm it. Right. We are so incredibly ignorant. That's not ignorance, not a bad term. Still, there's plenty of things that this unit's ignorant about. More things it's ignorant about than things that it knows about, I'm sure you, because I don't really know much. Ignorance, recognition of ignorance. I had another client yesterday, and he's taken a bit of a whipping. He's probably going to watch this video. He's taken a bit of a whipping lately. And what that did was that popped the air out of the King of the World balloon, out of the non-dual giant balloon. And the way that this was not our first session, but this was really the first session where he said, help me. We got to recognize that we're in the bubble if we're ever going to get out of the bubble. Who is it that's really in the bubble? Awakeness, and there is no bubble. But this is the feeling. This is what it feels like to you. You think you've read a lot of books, you've watched a lot of videos, and you may have gone to a lot of retreats and all that stuff, and you're wondering, why can't I get it? Because you're it. There's nothing to get this. There's only this. There's nothing to find it. There's only it. It is looking for it. True nature is looking for true nature and thinks it's going to find it in India. And if not in India, certainly in Peru. Let's do some drugs, or, in Central America. Let's do some drugs. Maybe I can discover my true nature, says true nature. You will discover different aspects of yourself if you go to Peru and perhaps in India as well. But what we'll be discovering, wow, I haven't been awake, is awakeness. And I just hate to rain on your parade. Ayahuasca and all that. I have clients that do that. They do what they do. I don't try to tell my clients what to do, because I don't know what they should do. Apparently, if they go to Central America, the one thing I'm sure of is that they're supposed to be in Central America until they're not. So this bubble of self-reflection, this is where everybody is. Fred, I understand that the idea of oneness. I completely get oneness. I mean, I've got that down intellectually. I've just got it. It's just not my experience. Oneness is telling oneness that oneness is not having the oneness experience. Duh. What other experience could oneness have? So I don't know if this helped, but it's gone on a while now, so I think I should end it. And it's probably kind of a long video, but I hope that you got something out of it. If you did, leave a like. If you want to see, or better yet, even a like and a comment. If you want to see more videos of me, go to just Google Fred Davis YouTube home or page or whatever. It'll take you there, and you can see all the videos, and you can undo them. You can just go at random, let God feed them to you as it feels fit. That'll be fine. There are books, but there are videos on satsang that are quotes from things that are excerpts from satsang, which is live interplay, which there is no substitute for. Did I say no substitute? There is no substitute for interaction with a living teacher, with a living awakened being, so to speak. There is no being, no body that is awake, no physical Davis that's awake. I don't know, it froze, the thing froze for me there. It might have frozen for you, but we're back. You can come to satsang, for God's sake. Avail yourself of satsang. The way things are going right now is we usually have from 25 to 45 people in the group, and it's an extraordinary experience for most people. Some people, it may not be for. That's fine. Don't come back if you don't like it, but give it a try, because there are people that love it. There are people that have cleared from this. There are people that have gone through satsang for a long time, and now they have gone away, but they haven't necessarily gone into the gloom and doom of awakening. I mean, of confusion again. They're clear. They're clear. They don't need somebody there every 10 minutes telling them to, hey, you need to be clear. Although what we have to watch out for in that instance is we got to watch out for the ones who simply become unteachable. Don't become unteachable. That was like my friend this week, help me. There's a natural arrogance to human being. This thing is swamped with it. There's a natural arrogance in a human being where it wants to do this thing my way, and that is a character that is an imaginary character talking. It's ego talking. You can't rest on your laurels. You are moving forward or you are moving backward, and your interests may change, and if it does, it's no doing of yours. Notice that you didn't choose to be a seeker, and notice that you can't unchoose to be a seeker. It chose you, and it will choose you until it lets you go, if it lets you go. You get too far in here, there's no letting go, but you can tell yourself, oh, I got it, and I'm done. And I'm just going to rest on my laurels, at which point you can watch yourself moving backward at rocket-like speed. At any rate, that's enough big warnings. I love you all. Come see me at Sunset Song. You might get to meet Betsy too. And heck, I'll see you soon. Well, anything I'm leaving out? Oh, Instagram. Go to Awakening Clarity Now at Instagram, and you can see these beautiful posts. They're just quotes, but she really does them beautifully. Jane in England does it, and you can see the posts that she puts up, and I like them very much. Really, I do, and many others do too. But not as many as I would imagine, as I would have imagined would already be watching us there. Who cares? He doesn't want to. See, you get them cranked up, you can't get them to stop. I'm going to try right now.